Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to my. I'm joking. So yeah, I have decided to do a update video from what my experience has been like from rupturing my Achilles tendons, 80% to having an operation and having a cast for 2 weeks. What the rehab process looks like now for me, what the healing has been like, pain levels, motivation levels, the mental impact of an injury like this. So let's give a bit of context and background. So August 25th, sometime towards the end of August, I was playing football in preparation for a tournament that I didn't obviously take part in, with some friends and some brothers from my church. And while training, we warmed up. We got a really good warm up. We did our stretches, 20 to 30 minutes of warm up. So I felt good. I didn't feel like I was in any pain. And during the training, I kind of facing the opposition this way. We had the ball, the keeper had the ball, and I turned back to ask for the ball pass. As I turn back and I take a step like that, the next thing I just hear literally that sound, but a bit louder, like, and people around me heard it. And immediately I was on the floor. It felt like somebody had kicked the back of my leg, specifically my Achilles tendon, and I just shouted, "Hey!" like, foul. But literally there was no one around me. As soon as I took that step, I overstretched or put too much pressure on my tendons, and it just popped. I tried to stand back up. One of my friends who had ruptured their tendons on both legs, one leg twice, one leg once, he was like, "Yeah, you've ruptured it, you need to go to A&E." I wasn't in a lot of pain, but so I stayed till the end of the training session, kind of walking on my knees, trying to get involved. It's just who I am. But yes, I went to A&E, and then I started to feel the pain. As the adrenaline wore out, I started to feel the pain, and yeah, I needed painkillers urgently, because it was my ankle was in a lot of pain. There was swelling around the ankle. So the nurses gave me some paracetamol and ibuprofen, and that kind of helped. But I was in A&E for 5 hours before I was seen. So after a few hours again, I needed some strong stuff, so they gave me some cocodamol. I had crutches, and was seen after 5 hours, and it was clear there was a gap between my tendon. And this is kind of, I can show you. This is my good leg, but in here in this space there was a gap that much between my tendons. And the doctor that first saw me knew that I'd ruptured it, sent me for a x-ray, and yeah, it came back. They could clearly see that there was a gap, that my tendon was ruptured. There was no fracture or anything. They wanted to do an ultrasound, but the machine wasn't available. So they booked me in to see the orthopedics specialist the following Monday, because that happened on a Thursday. So there was a gap before I saw the orthopedic specialist, and they put me in a boot similar to this. However, it didn't have wedges. and so it was just to mobilize my feet. So I'll show you what the wedges look like. So I put me in the boot. It was black, but it didn't have these things, which are the wedges. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on now because I've taken out one because it's part of the rehab. I'll explain what these wedges do later on. So they put me in a boot to just keep my foot in a stable position, and it didn't have wedges, but it kind of kept it in this position, which is called like a plantar position. And so when I went to see the specialist, he confirmed I could either do two options: have an operation or do the non-operative method, which is they'll put me in a boot specifically like this with a wedge, and that'll take about 8 to 9 months of recovery. Operation will take about 3 to 4 months if I do everything right. So because of what I do, I can't afford to be out for 8 to 9 months, so I opted for operative method. I had an operation about 2 days after. I will share some clips of the operation day and I hear what was going through my mind here. What's going on, people? So 2nd of August, in to get my Achilles tendon repaired. Damaged it playing football. No one beside me. But yeah, just thought I could take you guys on a journey. Yeah, just trusting God and praying over the team, praying over the department, over the surgeons, consultants, and anesthetists, and yeah, just trusting God what He's gonna do. Just wanna get it done, out of the way, and get back to living my life. So, well done, the surgery. My mouth is as dry as the Sahara. So, just gonna have some water, but yeah, man, praise be to God. Amazing team. Just grateful. Grateful. In a bit of pain, but as you can imagine, they've just got open, like my legs. So, anyways, guys, see you in a bit. Can't wait to have some eba and okra. Hey guys, just giving you an update. Morning after surgery. Had to take some cocodamol. Night was actually okay. I woke up once with just sharp pain, so I have to keep my leg elevated. So the worst part is when I go to the toilet and the blood rushes back into my leg, the wound just feels like it's throbbing, and that's incredibly painful. Brings my pain scale definitely to a 9 out of 10. When I elevate it again, that's still painful because you're draining the blood out. The blood is like going away from the leg, going past the wound as well. So that's painful as well. And then just random sharp pains like that just comes. It's definitely tender. So this is the leg, elevating it as high as possible. But yeah, man, a day after the op, I'm gonna get this cast taken off in 2 weeks, and then I'll get a normal boot and start some kind of physio. So I can't wait there at all for 2 weeks. Then I'll start to do little exercises. I can wiggle my toes and bend my knees. That's the only kind of exercise I can do. So, day 1, post-op. Got this. Yeah, after the operation, I was put in a cast for 2 weeks, which kept my feet in a plantar position. like that. And after 2 weeks, the cast was taken off, and I started early mobilization. In them 2 weeks, the days after the operation, I've never felt, specifically the second day after the operation, I've never felt pain like that in my life. So what I was instructed to do when I went home, I was put on Fragment. I'm still on it. I take it every day. They've been jabbing me for 30 something days. My family members, partner, they're loving that. Put on Fragment and I had cocodamol for about 2 to 3 weeks. I had to keep my feet elevated. I got some things on, actually my friend's mom who he ruptured his tendon 3 times. She gave me a few things for shower and elevation. So I had to keep my feet elevated. But anytime I'd go to the toilet walking with crutches, the blood would rush back, and because the wound was still fresh, it would literally just pulse, and I was incredibly painful. I had to, not painful, but discomforting, and I'd probably take about 10 to 15 seconds to settle myself before I would then go to the toilet. The pain levels were manageable over them 2 weeks. Then I got the cast off. And after I got the cast off, I was then put in this boot. And then this boot had 5 wedges. And so you can imagine for 2 weeks, out of the cast, my feet was in this position, so the tendon had healed, but it healed tight. And then after taking the cast off, I put my foot in the boot. It kind of stretched it, and that was incredibly painful as well and discomforting. But that stretch is needed because your tendon healing tight. It needed that stretch to kind of stretch it out, because there's a when I put my feet down, I don't know how to show you. I don't know if I can show you from this. This is my good feet, and I can put it down 90 degrees, and there's not a gap. However, on my so that's my good feet, 90 degrees. When I try to go 90 degrees on this feet, there's a bit of a gap. You can see my heel is not touching the ground. But over time, in the boot, as I take out the wedges and I stretch, you'll be able to stand 90 degrees. Hope all of that makes sense. So that's been like the experience from the operation, or even before the operation, to now 5 weeks post-op.